First on Focus at 4, outrage over the weekend roadblocks in St. Clair County. A research firm was collecting DNA samples as part of a National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration funded study aimed at reducing impaired driving. And it paid off-duty deputies to assist with the roadblocks. Now, Focus at 4's Candace Sweat is here. And Candace, we want to be clear. Residents were not forced to give these samples. It was voluntary.
Right, David, was voluntary. Anybody who stopped through one of the 4 roadblocks in St. Clair County was asked if they were willing to give DNA samples. Now, these samples were taken through saliva, blood samples, and participants actually got money in return for that. Now, the question that has a lot of people on social media on edge is, what exactly were these DNA samples being used for? And that's what we asked today.
As soon as we pulled up, he said, we're doing a brief little survey, and if you don't mind just pulling over here to the car wash, and it'll take just a few minutes of your time.
Erica Scavelis and her 8-year-old daughter were riding along Highway 34 Friday night when she approached a roadblock. After being asked to participate in a survey, she agreed.
Did do a swab. It was actually one of the assistants that took the swab, and I took a brief survey on an iPad. And then I proceeded to the phlebotomist who explained to me what he was doing, and he took a brief sample of my blood.
Scavelis was paid $60 for participating. She was handed this sheet of paper explaining that the Pacific Institute for Research and Evaluation was conducting the survey, which is funded by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, to better understand impaired driving on our nation's roadways.
It's basically just asking how much over-the-counter prescription medication or prescription medication that you take, how many times a day do you take it, do you drink alcohol, if you do or don't. If you drink alcohol, do you drive after drinking?
4 off-duty St. Clair Sheriff's Office deputies assisted with the roadblocks both Friday and Saturday nights. They posted up between the hours of 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. on County Road 54, Highway 34, Highway 231, and Highway 44. However, Lieutenant Freddie Turrentine wants to be clear. The deputies were not responsible for taking DNA samples.
The last time we did this was 2007 or the first part of 2008, and this time. It's about every 5 years.
Still, social media comments from people living in St. Clair County questioned the motives for collecting DNA.
And there was big signs on both sides of the roadblock that said paid survey. We wasn't trying to trick nobody or trying to intimidate anybody. It was just, if they wanted to do it, they did. If they didn't, I had several people that said, I'm not interested, and they kept driving.
And Dave, I do want to say that we reached out to a spokesperson with the Pacific, but we haven't heard back. Of course, that's the research group that's claimed that they're responsible for taking the DNA. I've also been in touch with a person from the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration who has responded to several questions of mine, saying that he is in the process of looking into these questions and trying to get answers as to why these DNA samples, what exactly are they being used for? Can they be traced back to people in any way, or are they anonymous? Several questions that still remain to be answered, and we hope that they're looking into that as we speak.
Yeah, well, and one question is, St. Clair County isn't the only county that's participated in this study.
Right. We got our hands on a study from 2007 that showed that Bibb County was also another county that participated in this study as well back in 2007. And that's another question. How do they pick these counties? How often do these surveys come up?
How widespread is this?
Right.
Also, do we know how many people agreed to give these samples over the weekend?
Well, the lieutenant rather told me that he wasn't quite sure how many people actually agreed to give blood or saliva. He says that at one stop in particular, about 17 people agreed to give blood. At another stop, more than 100 people actually went through the roadblock between the hours of 10 p.m. and 3 a.m.
Yeah, at night.
At night.
Still more questions to be answered. All right, thanks, Candace. Well, this story immediately got strong reaction on our Facebook page. Focus of 4's Ed Birch is at the big board now to start that conversation, and had a lot of people with a lot of questions.
Yes, Dave. In fact, about 239 comments on this post alone, and a lot of people just want to know why. And a lot of people are saying that this is just absolutely ridiculous, and a lot of questions that still need to be answered. But we're going to start off with Jessica Smith that says, what I want to know is why. Why ask random people? What exactly are they looking for? Some very valid questions. We got Ursula Watkins that says, it's supposed to be voluntary, though, but she goes on to say, who's to say no one was intimidated or no one was intimidated or has intimidated anyone into going along with it, and goes on to say that the whole thing is ridiculous. And we got Paige that says, are they saying why they want it? They can store it for years and there's no telling what they can do with it. And she's talking about those DNA samples, and she says that she would refuse just because of that. And again, more than 200 comments on our Facebook thread from people just wanting to know why, Dave, and certainly a lot of unanswered questions about this, and people saying this just seems really bizarre more than anything else.
Yeah, why at night? It's very strange, all strange. All right, thank you, Ed.